Hi everybody, how are you doing? I've got my little Josie here with me, and yes, I'm in the camper filming my little chat today from the camper with Celebrate With Me, everybody, celebrate with me, mind the baby. I got a Starbucks, other coffees available, but I got a Starbucks, OMG. I haven't had a Starbucks in like 10 weeks. But I do prefer Costa. But I'm not complaining, honestly. I'm not complaining. And I don't mind paying the price of it. Oh. So my coffee and a chat today is with... I nearly said Costa then, but it's not. Is it? It's Starbucks. And the reason I've got it is because I'm at the service station, and the service station is open. You can't, there's no McDonald's. The McDonald's and whatever things they've got there. A service station here in England, if you don't know, is like all along our like motorways where you can get petrol. Most of them have somewhere where you can stay overnight, or well, as many days as you want. But where you can, it's a rest area so you can sit and have a rest and that for driving. And they have all sorts of like areas in there. So this one I think has a Waitrose, which is a supermarket, has a Waitrose, Starbucks, another eatery area, and a McDonald's, toilets, showers. And then you can cross a walkway that goes across the road to the opposite one. And they have got a KFC in that one. They've got something different. So if people want to get a Kentucky Fried Chicken, they can go over that way. Although that's not open at the moment. But what is open is Starbucks just to take away, and Waitrose because it's food. So those are the only two. Oh, this one's also got WH Smith, which is a newsagent's. And they sell sweets and little toys and things like that. So, yeah, I was so happy. I like pulled up here and I'm like, I don't know. There's hardly any cars in the car park. Is it open? And the car next to me, the people were getting out, and I was just like, is it open? They're like, yeah. Oh, good. And it's got really good measures, you know. But people don't follow them, and that it's other people. So that's why the government thing it now is stay alert. And that means, in my interpretation of it, be aware of people around you. You know, I'm not a very alert person. I am alert to people around me, and that's just inbred in me from a child. And when you've got PTSD, that makes you alert. But I'm alert of people in where they are, but I'm not very good at like I'd pick up a bottle of Coke or some flat, and Russell's like, don't pick up that, you don't know who's touched it before you, or wipe it all down before you put that in your mouth. Murray's like, but then he's like, but if you buy like a 6-pack cans, you know, each individual can is wrapped. So he's like, yeah, that's not so bad. But if you're going to buy a bottle, be careful. Be careful of who's... See, now I'm itching my nose as well, so... There you go. COVID can just go up your nose. But I did sanitize. They've got sanitizers at the door, sanitizers halfway along, and then the toilet, so you wash your hands there anyway. And so then you come back past both of those hand sanitizers. I don't know how much you see it being alert is because you don't know how much other people are going to use them. You just make sure you use them, and if you are near people, try not to be. Which is exactly what I'm doing. But it's a bittersweet journey for me today, because I'm going to John's funeral. So as much as I really, really want to go and see Sheena, I don't want to be doing this journey. If John was alive, and Sheena was home and everything was like, you know, normalish for them, I would not be travelling because of COVID. So all the time this COVID's been going on, I've been going out once a week to grocery shop, and I went out me and Russ went out for 2 hours, sat on the moor, which is near us, and just had a barbecue, just so Russ could get away from the house as well, even though he's not furloughed. If Russ has to hang around the house and do nothing for too long, he can't. He's a fidgety kind of guy. He has to always be doing something. So, and I hadn't been out, and the camper wasn't starting because it was like had a flat battery. So the battery was in the end turned out to be really duff. So I hadn't been out the house and luckily for us, we've got a garden, haven't we? You will have seen that. But he was like, let's just go out and have a barbecue. It's like, yeah. So we just literally went out down a moor for a couple of hours, and it was just so nice to get out of our area, our house, our little village. Because you do have to get in the car, you do have to drive to go anywhere because of where I live. So you have to drive to a shop. Anyway, so yeah. So I wouldn't be going. I would not be going up to see Sheena. And Sheena, like, you know, there's no way I would want to take something from Somerset and take it inside their house unknowingly. So I just wouldn't do it. But the reason I'm going is for John's funeral. And I just don't want to go. I really don't want to do this journey. It's on my mind ever since John died. I really hope he knows how much I really thought about him, how much I cared about him, and how much I'm going to miss hearing him say, "Hello, lovely face." That's what he used to call me. And that was just such a nice greeting. Hello, lovely face. I haven't heard those sort of comments very much in my life. So COVID is still out there. So be alert, even though we're starting to ease the lockdown. I can't believe in England how many people are visiting the beaches. I live about 20 to 30 minutes, 20 to 40 minutes, depending where you go, away from the beach. Drive away from the beach. And yeah, people are driving. Yeah, I haven't been to the beach. There's no way I would take it from my little area to anywhere else, to anybody else's area, unless it was essential. And this is what I call I'm driving today. This is essential. But the amount of people that are driving for hours to go to the coast for the day and then just packing themselves on the beach is just nuts. Absolutely nuts. We've got, like, I live right near Exmoor. It's called Moorland. It's Exmoor, so it's just loads and loads of just moorland. It's just got heather, loads of heather on it, and trees, random trees, and it's massive. And you could go and you could park, and you could probably park if somewhere, but you would be parking in with a lot of people. But you could find somewhere on Exmoor where you wouldn't actually come across anybody else. But we wouldn't even do that. Before COVID, I would drive up a few villages. I think you've seen me film Langport a few times when I took babies for a walk. Or, it's okay. She's just making little sounds. It's okay, my little one. Just so thrilled with her. Absolutely thrilled. It's okay, darling. It's okay. Yeah, so I haven't even been doing that. So I think you would have seen me, because that's little village where I go and get my medication. So my daughter got my medication last week and bought me shopping because she was already out. So yeah, so I consider this to be an essential. Let's have a sip of coffee. Let's savor that first taste. I haven't even had a first taste yet. Get ready with me. To all of you coffee lovers who haven't had a decent cup of coffee, cheers to you too. All my neurons are going, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a latte. I always get a latte. Oh. Oh my gosh, that tasted so good. Never tastes the same when you buy it at home, or you even just buy Starbucks. God, I could see my spit then. That's why you got to stay 2 meters away from people. Or wear a mask. But I just think masks give people a false sense of security, and because mask just covers here, right? Well, you've still got areas like you could just go, oh, got something in my eye. Yeah, that can still get into your system. You know, that's why the visors, people in the industry, in the healthcare industry, are wearing visors. And then you got to make sure you wash your hands before you take your mask off. It's no good taking your mask off if you haven't washed your hands. You know, in the healthcare profession, it's all about hand washing. And gloves per patient. That's why they go through so many gloves. Not wear your gloves all around the shop, get in your car with your gloves on, look at your phone with your gloves on. You're better off, if you're going to wear gloves in a supermarket, wash your hands. Outside the supermarket or just inside, wash your hands, put your gloves on, walk around the supermarket, dispose of the gloves at the supermarket exit, and wash your hands. That's much better. Anyway, I have to have a little thing about that because obviously John never even left his home, and yet he died of COVID, and Sheena had it. Completely different to John. Sheena's ended up with what we're finding in this country. I don't know about other countries, but blood clots, which is what Sheena had. So I'm happy to go up to Sheena's because Sheena can't get it again, because I would hate to give it to Sheena. She's clear of it, and I would have hated to have given it to her before because she has lots of health conditions too. So, and I do have a cough at the moment. I have itchy eyes, and that is all hay fever. It's all allergies. You're too scared to cough these days because everybody's like, no. Really, during this, I've really noticed that I have been far more interactive with Frankie. I put more videos up of Frankie. They don't tend to get as many views, so I don't know. I guess people don't really like maybe seeing role play with the dolls. I don't know, or they don't like the bigger dolls. She doesn't get as many views. So, but people like to see her. I love her, and I've actually been doing more and more with her over the last few weeks. So, because the staying at home is no different for me because of the chronic illnesses. I stay at home anyway, and I have for years and years and years. And it's all about, because I was like teaching and driving all over the West Country, lecturing and things like that when before. So I've had fibromyalgia for years and chronic fatigue, or ME, or whatever you want to call it, for years. But I still taught and everything. But then my dad got cancer and died within a year. And after the month after his funeral, our house got completely flooded. And I was having a hard time at work with one of my line managers. She would be doing things like find me in a kitchen, which is where we didn't have cameras in the buildings, and say things to me like, "Are you after my job? Are you after my job? Stop showing me up." Just because I was doing my job. I was obviously doing my job far too well. But when you're like vulnerable anyway at the time, which is I was, because my dad had died, then our house got flooded I think it was in the November. So my dad died September. No, so Dad died the end of September. I think it was the beginning of November when our house got flooded. So just over a month. And I ended up having a nervous breakdown the following March because I just could not take this. She was a real bully. She was a real bully, and she lived miles and miles away, and it would send me things that I had to do. It just anyway, it was just horrendous. So in the end, I ended up having a nervous breakdown, and my doctor was like, you've got to give up work. You really, if you can afford to, you've got to go at work. Well, so I was speaking to Russ about it, and we just had to be a bit, tighten up our finances. And luckily, my children had all left home. So that was a big financial burden taken off of me anyway, because obviously they're my children, my 3 girls, and Russ has got his 1. So I felt like, not that they're a burden, but it's a financial burden. It's a financial tie, you want to provide for your children and make sure they're all okay and everything. And we had 2 that went to university, and Holly Young, my youngest, got a full-time job as soon as she left school. So I didn't have that anymore. So yeah, and I just ended up having a nervous breakdown and couldn't work. Which is then when I found the first Reborn, who's Annie, and she is here, but she's fast asleep. So I'm not going to wake her up. She hates this long journey in the camper. Annie loves coming in the camper, but she doesn't like a long journey. The reason she likes coming in the camper is because she knows it's exciting and she's going to see stuff, and she might see some cows and tractors because she loves the countryside, or she might be doing something fun. But she knows when we go see Aunty Sheena that it's a long journey. So she's going to find it strange when she gets there and Uncle John's not there. God, my heart just went, my stomach just went. Grief is horrible, particularly when grief is horrible at any time, because my dad, we knew he had that year. But when it's a shock, it's horrendous. I mean, I feel like when my dad died and I had the whole year, I could speak to him a lot better in that year than I ever could, because there were things that I really want to say, because I grew up in such a fractious childhood. This is what my dad told me that year, that he loved my other sister. My dad's got 4 boys and 2 girls that we know of, because we've all got different mums. Told me that he loved my other sister differently to me, that he wanted to protect her more, that he wanted to look after her more than and I'm the eldest, she's not the youngest. And it was just like, right, so that makes, if my dad really thought that throughout my entire life, since my sister came along, our entire life, she's 8 years younger than me, then that makes perfect sense for all the ways that the things that happened to me. It makes sense. But even as I was like 40 odd then, even as a 40-year-old, that's a horrible thing to hear from your parent. But he was truthful, he was honest, and he was trying to tell me he didn't understand why it was. Maybe it was because when I was born, he was 17, and my real mum was my birth mother, my biological mother, whatever you want to call her. She was 16, and my dad wasn't allowed in the hospital, let alone anything else. He was just barred completely because he was a naughty tearaway boy, and he kicked up a storm. And so I think so it was like really fractious. So then when my sister came along, she was so quick delivery that he was actually there. And so he said that might be why. But I'm really glad that I had that time. But with John, I'm so glad that the last time I saw John, that I told him that I loved him. And I would see him in June, because the doll show is meant to be June. No, see him for Easter. I can't remember when this fell. Did this fall before Easter? I would have gone up at Easter. Yeah, so I last saw them in February, I think, January or February. And I would have been at Easter, and then I come up in June for the doll show. And then I usually come up in August, but this year I said I wouldn't come up in August because it gets too hot. And it's too hot to sit in the camper, and at night it's too hot to sleep in a camper. And now I'm travelling up, and we've got the most ridiculous weather in England for May. It's just so hot and sunny. It's like being in Spain. But that has been, in my opinion, really good for people that have to stay at home, work from home, and that if they've got a garden that they can get out. You know, like most places, we are only allowed out for an hour a day. But this was a big surprise. I've seen every Rosalie that I have seen. I actually love. I really love. Now, but I don't do so well with small babies. They stay in my collection probably for a few years, if that, and then they're off. But I'm so taken up with her. I really am. I've got that Moses basket actually next to my bed. So she actually is sleeping next to my bed, and I've not done that with any of them. Annie will come to bed sometimes. She'll be, if I'm having a rest day in my bed, she will come in and I will have her in with me. But she doesn't sleep with me unless Russ isn't there or I'm having a really bad upsetting time, because my Reborns really calm me. They're really, really, you know, once I start snuggling and cuddling, I can straight away, when I do that, feel starting to drain and feel so relaxing just doing that. Are so relaxing to me. And Annie is like a really great size just to snuggle in bed with. All of my children used to come in bed at night, all of them. I know they say, don't co-sleep, don't co-sleep, don't co-sleep. Well, me and my ex-husband had all 3 of the children in bed with us most nights. In fact, we contemplated getting one of the massive, massive beds. They would come around to my side and I'd be like, no, get back in your own bed. And then they'd crawl or commando crawl round to Dad's side. And then once Dad had let one in, the other one would be in my side. What can you do? And then Rebecca would be in later on. So I find my Reborns really relaxing, and if I'm anxious, really distracting. So they help me to distract from things that are going on. I focus on changing them, setting up poses, playing, letting my inner child play. I love walking past the nursery and seeing them set out, like doing stuff. I love seeing that. When I'm out in the garden, I always have one near me. I do. I always have one near me. Something, and I can look at them and I can, my little mind can imagine them like having a nice peaceful sleep, or playing with their toys. And to me, that's a huge distraction. That bit of the therapy of the dolls is a really good distraction. Making YouTube videos helps with the distraction as well, because you know you're focusing on something else. So when I'm feeling anxious, sometimes actually you don't know you're feeling anxious, right? But you get like irritated about something. So when I'm irritated, I usually know that actually is a behavior of my anxiety. So I have to pause for a bit and think about what I'm anxious about. And it could be something like, I need to go shopping, but I don't want to go in the supermarkets because it's hell. I hate grocery shopping at the best of time, but now it's hell. It's hell. Queuing up and, because can't get any delivery slots in our area for any of the places, any of the stores. So, yeah, you have to queue up. And then, you know, you're in your little box when you get there. You're in your little 2-meter box, 2-meter box, 2-meter box. You can't go back down there if you need to. You really have to think about your shopping list beforehand and make sure you've got all the aisles correct. Got all your aisles sorted, what you want, because you can't go back if you've forgotten something. Oh, it's just stressful. And paying by card. See, I prefer to use cash. I prefer a cash-based money system, money spending system, whatever, rather than using card, because I forget. I'm like, huh? £7 something in the post office? When did I go to the post office? I haven't been to the oh yes, I have been to the post office. Because my mind, I have a really forgetful mind. I'm really forgetful. Today I lost my glasses for ages before I came here. I couldn't find my glasses. Because I literally washed my glasses, put them down, and went, and my mind just, oh yeah, I've got to go and do that. So I do that. Oh yeah, I've got to go and do that. Now where are my glasses? I spent like 20 minutes. So I was nearly in tears looking for my glasses. So I was like, no, focus on something else and just try and retrace your steps. Needless to say, I did find them because they're here. And I do have a spare pair. And I just wonder, I'm not the sort of person that just wants to just have them, look at them, or put them in a nice dress. I mean, she's got a pretty dress on today. But some people love them just like an ornament, like, you know, they love the look of them, and they love dressing them, and they love putting them in their prams. Some people like that. Whereas for me, they really are therapy for me. I really, even when I'm out, so I really suffered really, really badly with going out, and it was getting to the stage of agoraphobia. When I walked outside the door, everywhere just felt massive, absolutely massive and echoey, and it was horrendous. It was really horrendous. And then I got Annie, and then I got a pushchair, and that really helped. I mean, I had to get over the feelings of like, oh my God, I'm a 40-year-old woman pushing a doll in a pram. I had to get over those sort of feelings, first of all, those sort of voices in my head. But I was like, I really need to go out. I really need to not be in the house, because if I can't drive somewhere, like to a doll show, to meet Sheena, to meet somebody else, I will be like, I won't be able to cope. I would not be able to cope. So I got a pram pushchair for Annie. And I really, really, really love it. And you know I love it because you see my prams. And I got my pram last year for my 50th birthday, the Eye Candy Land Rover. And I love that pram. I do. It's so neat. Oh, so good. But I would still... Shut up, Caroline. I can't. I would still love a Bugaboo bee. That is like my dream pushchair. Why didn't I buy one then when I got that? Because this is an all-terrain and I need that for walking when I walk Millie. See, this is real life problems. Real life Reborn mum problems. So all I've done this time on the pram is I've just bought the car seat. So I shouldn't think we were going out. And anyway, Sheena's got a ton of prams that I can use. But yeah, so I've just bought the car seat for Missy, who is in the car seat. Aren't you, sweetheart? She's been so good, hasn't she? I'm so glad you all love her name. I don't know why. Usually, I know this is going to sound even more crazy to people who think that doll mums are crazy anyway. But I wait for them to tell me what their name is. Yeah, I do. I know, wacko, right? And she was telling me all the time it was Josie, and I wasn't listening. But she's got a vintage dress on, so she had the vintage baby grow on the last time you saw her. And now she's got a vintage dress on. And I don't really have a lot of summer clothes, newborn size summer clothes. So I'm going to, yeah, can't even go anywhere. Well, we can go to the supermarkets and buy stuff, which is something that I might have to do. But I've got some bits, you'll be fine. I've got some t-shirts and I've got some onesies, so basically that's it, isn't it? Just put them in onesies. So anyway, we better travel on a bit further then, haven't we? Yeah. We better travel on a little bit further. I could just sit here with just, the sun is on my back. It's so cozy. I could just sit here. Well, I've got another 2.5 hours, I think, to drive. This is one of the ones, if I go this way, I always stop in the service area. And if I go the other way around England, then I always stop at another services. But you have seen me stop here before, and I've done a coffee and a chat before. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let's put baby girl up. Look at those lips. She said, don't move me, I'm so tired. So tired. She looks a funny colour. She looks really pale. But she's not. She's not in real life. Remember what I say? Be careful about what you're buying when you just see it on a camera. She's like, Mum, don't keep moving my head. Yeah, but I want everyone to see you a bit better. There you go. Oh my God, I love her. Anyway, cheers. I'm going to finish off my drink and then I'm going to continue on my journey. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting us on our channel. Please, if you haven't watched Frankie's videos, please go and watch them, because Frankie gets a little bit upset that she doesn't get as many views as her brothers and sisters. She does, look at them. She does, look. You know what kids are like these days, much more savvy than their mums. Love you. God, I love her. Can't wait till Auntie Sheena sees her. And we meet Auntie Sheena's new baby. No. Be safe, everybody. Take care. Enjoy your coffees. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.